Hello everyone, it's Lindsay, and today I have something a little bit different and fun for you guys. I am participating in a Bible art YouTube hop. So there are 5 of us here on YouTube that are all coming together and doing a video today. So I will have their videos linked down below for you guys, and you can hop along and see how everybody is creating today. There's going to be a little bit of something for everybody. Everybody has different styles, different things that they're journaling in. So I would definitely encourage you to go check out those ladies down below. And the prompt or the theme for this is our favorite Bible verse. So today I'm going to be journaling in Romans 8:28, and that says that we know that all things work together for the good of those who love God, who are called according to his purpose. So I will talk a little bit more about that as we get the video started, but I wanted to use something that I haven't used in a very long time. You guys have mentioned, some of you in my comments, that I have not been using my Inktense pencils, and these were a love of mine. I used them quite a bit when I first started journaling, and they've just been sitting here not being loved on. So we're going to use these today, and I'm going to be using a variety of stamp sets. It's kind of nice doing something that's not in a collaboration with a specific company, because I can kind of just use whatever I want in my craft space. So I pulled out a variety of floral stamps. I have this new one from scrapbook.com, and then I have a whole bunch from Felicity Jane. Some of these ones from Felicity Jane may not be available any longer, but if they are, I will link everything down below for you guys. And so, you know, florals are my jam. That's what I love working with. So I'm going to just be stamping some florals, coloring and painting them in with the Inktense pencils, doing some lettering, and calling it good. So I'm going to go ahead and put you on fast forward, and we will get this put together. Real quick before I do that, what I have here are just some stamp masks that I created. So I, off camera, went ahead and stamped all of these out onto some post-it notes, cut them out, and so I will be doing some stamp masking as I build my floral bunch down at the bottom here. So let me go ahead and put you on fast forward, and we will put this together. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and dive into the stamping. I did go ahead and put one of those flexible cutting mats behind my page just to protect the rest of the Bible pages. I am working in the new Illustrating Bible just because the pages are fresh and clean, and this page was already journaled in my other Bible, so that's why I'm journaling in this one. But I'm going to go ahead and use Versafine Onyx Black ink. This is a permanent black ink, and it does not seem to bleed through the Illustrating Bible pages. However, it does have a tendency to bleed through other regular Bible pages, so just keep that in mind. But I wanted to do some watercoloring, or using water with these Inktense pencils, so I need to make sure that I use an ink that is waterproof. And so we're just going to build up a big cluster of florals. This kind of looks like a big mess before it all comes together. So with this particular ink, it is a permanent pigment ink. So you want to make sure that you heat set the ink before you touch it. So before I put the mask down, or before I lay my hand over it, I'm making sure that I heat set the stamping. That way I don't smear it. It's especially noticeable on these white pages if you smear it. So I can go ahead and just place one of those masks over the top. Now when you create your masks, you want to stamp on a post-it note, and when you're cutting it out, you want to cut directly on the stamped line, and that's going to give you the best results with your masking. So any flowers that I want to be in the very front, I stamp first, cover them up with my mask, and then you can see I can go ahead and stamp around that floral, and you can't really see how it's coming together until I pull all the masks up. But basically I'm just going to go around and do the same technique where I stamp, lay down a mask, stamp, lay down a mask, and I'm just building up this floral cluster. And I tried to pick stamps, even though they were from a couple different companies, try to pick ones that had similar line width and kind of the same look to them. That way the florals look like they are meant to go together. The styles are very similar between each one of these stamp sets. I did cover the text just a smidge with my stamping down there. I can still read it if I really look at it. That wasn't really my intention, but sometimes I just get in the groove of things and it happens. So you could definitely adapt the same technique for a smaller margin, and that would work just fine. It just depends on how you layer your stamps. So I'm just keep looking at the different stamps that I have, just trying to fill out this cluster, trying to keep in mind what I want in front. Like I want these smaller flowers to be in front so they don't get lost. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp those down and then mask them off, and then I can stamp a big branch piece kind of behind them And like I said, this all kind of makes sense once you pull up the masks and you can see what it looks like. But it's just a little bit of practice. This is a technique that really makes your stamps stretch and gives you just a better outcome with your stamping. It looks like one complete stamp as opposed to a whole bunch of different little pieces. You could do this with critters and all different kinds of scene building stamps. You can do the same technique. Just continuing to layer up my masks. And when I cut my masks, I actually just stamp on the top layer of the sticky note, and then I can go ahead and pick up 2 or 3 sheets of the post-it note at a time and cut it out together. That way I get multiples of the same stamped image, and you can actually save these masks. So as long as the stickiness on the sticky note is still sticky, you can use them again and again. So it's not so much of a waste of your time, you know, cutting those out. So here, as I go ahead and pull up all the masks, you kind of look at this and go, whoa, that is Hot Mess Express. But once we start adding the color in, you start being able to tell what's going on. So I've pulled out several different colors of Inktense pencils. I will have them all listed down below for you guys. For the greenery portion, I'm actually going to use Payne's Gray and Neutral Gray. What I did was I got on Pinterest and I searched floral cards, like greeting cards, and to see some of the different color combinations, because I always kind of have the same colors that I go to every time, but I wanted to do something a little bit different. So I had found this card image that was like grays, like the greeneries were gray, and then the florals were yellows and reds and oranges, and I really loved the way it looked. So don't be afraid to try something different with your color schemes. I really love how this comes together in the end. So what I'm doing with these pencils is I'm actually going in and laying down color in the areas where I want the color to be the darkest. So the center of the leaves, underneath the flowers, any of your shadow areas, that's where I'm laying down the dry pencil. These Inktense pencils are just like the name. They're intense. It does not take very much pigment at all. So I'm not coloring in the entire leaf with the dry pencil. I'm only laying it down kind of in the center of the leaf, and then I'm going to bring in my damp paintbrush and kind of drag that color out, and you'll see just a little bit of pencil really is a lot of color. So I can kind of pick up a little bit of pigment from the end of the pencil if I need a little bit of additional color in there, but this is a very easy way to watercolor, especially in the illustrating Bible, because if you've watched any of my videos, you know watercoloring in this Bible can be a little bit tricky, and this technique works because the floral images are very small and detailed. I'm not using a lot of water. I'm not blending a whole lot of colors together, and I can go in with that dry pencil first. It seems to work pretty well on the illustrating Bible paper. So another great thing about Inktense pencils is they are permanent once they are dry. So once this is dry, you can't really move the pigment. That can be a little bit tricky if you're wanting to come back in and blend colors together. It can, you know, it's more difficult to do because the color dries. But as long as you're working with it still wet, you can move things around. And then because it's permanent once it's dry, you're able to layer colors. So as I get into the flowers, you'll see I start adding like yellow over the top of red, which normally you couldn't do. The colors would just mix together. But with the Inktense pencils, they actually lay on top of each other and create layers. So you get this really just intense, deeply pigmented, layered look to your images. It's just really neat. So for the flowers, I go in and add the color again to the darkest areas, so at the base of the petals, the center of the flower, and then just drag that color out. And what you'll see is I'm just slowly going to build up different colors. I will have, like I said, everything listed down below for you guys. And you're probably wondering, like, Lindsey, why florals? Like, florals has nothing to do with this verse, but I've journaled this verse several times, and so for this entry, I just wanted it to be a statement pretty page. This verse was something that really means a lot to my husband and I. We have it on a sign in our living room. I've talked about on my channel before, back in 2013, my husband and I went through a really difficult year, and we ended up going to biblical-based marriage counseling, and it saved us. I mean, it changed our faith journey, it changed the route we were going with our marriage, and so the very first meeting that we had with the counselors, it was a really sweet couple. They gave us this verse as a verse to memorize, and one thing that I really struggled with and still struggle with sometimes is just feeling like, oh, woe is me, why are all these bad things happening to me? And I really fought with depression and anxiety and things like that. And when I would get into these difficult situations, it would just send me into this spiral, and it was just not healthy. And so what they helped me realize was that those bad things that happen in my life aren't caused by God typically, but it's just part of living in a fallen world. But God can turn those bad things into good. So all those bad situations, whether it be, my kids being in the NICU, my marriage almost failing, and my husband being laid off, and just all these different things that we went through, God was actually able to take those moments. And with my kids being in the NICU, I was actually saved that first week that they were in the NICU. With my husband, with our marriage failing, he gave his life over to Christ, and we came back to church and started going to church regularly. And he was laid off and then ended up getting an even better job than what he had. And so all these times we can look back and see how God took what was a bad moment, a bad season, and used it for good, and used it for teaching, used it to give us, a testimony. Now I have a story to share with people. And when I speak to other women, and I can talk to other women, that have gone through difficult things with their children, or are struggling in their marriage, now I have a testimony to share that God is a God of restoration, that he came into my marriage and restored my marriage, even better probably than the day that we got married. And so I can now share that as a testimony with others. And so it's just really, this verse really has just given me a foundation when I go into those difficult seasons and I feel myself spiraling out of control again. Because for those of you who suffer from anxiety and depression, like that never goes away. Whether they give you medication, whether you go to counseling, whether you do all the different things, it's something that you kind of just struggle with. And what changes over time is how you deal with it. And so for me, I was diagnosed with postpartum depression when the boys were about 6 months old, and it just escalated from there. And I tried medication, I tried counseling sessions, and those things do help. I'm not against those things. But the biggest result for me, and the best result that I had, was the Word of God. And I know that, if you're in one of those moments and you haven't experienced that, it seems like such a Sunday school answer, like just go to your Bible, it'll make you feel better. But I promise you, there are just so many stories in the Bible that helped get me through some of those difficult moments. And this verse especially just help me remember when I'm in those difficult seasons. Once I get onto the other side, I'll be able to see how God is going to use this for good. And it's just really, really helped me in ways I never could have imagined. And so as we look at our favorite verses, this one will be one of those ones that just is always going to be one of my favorites. One of my go-to ones that I go to all the time. I share it with other people as often as I can, that, God doesn't always cause bad things to happen to us. And when you're talking to somebody who isn't a believer, and a lot of the times we get these questions like, well, why does God do this to people? Why does God cause childhood cancer? Or why does God do these things? Well, God doesn't cause those things. That's part of living in a fallen world, but God can take those things and make good out of them, and he can help you cope through that and give you the strength through those moments. So on screen you can see I got everything painted in. I added a little bit of acrylic paint splatters, and now I'm going back in with a black pen and a white gel pen just to add some detail. The white gel pen helps bring back some contrast in the flowers, add some highlights, just kind of adds some more interest to them. I absolutely love how this came out. And I don't think that I could have gotten quite the same results with regular watercolors. You can definitely try it. You can try using your Neocolor 2 crayons, using your gelatos. Just know the intensity is just going to be different because the Inktense pencils are just so vibrant. I do have studio lights on. I do a little post-editing, color correcting when I do my videos, but this is pretty true to how vibrant the colors are on this page, and it's stunning. I would not have chosen that color combination on my own, but it is amazing. So for my hand lettering, I am horrible. So I put together this phrase on my computer and then printed it out, and I'm going to use this as my guide as I go in with a paintbrush and some more of that acrylic ink. So I'm going to try to have this as a free printable over on my blog. I will have that link down below for you guys. It is sized to fit into the illustrating Bible, but you can always print it at like 50% or something like that would make it smaller, and you could use it in a traditional 2-inch margin. But basically I just typed it out, put it behind there, and then I'm kind of playing around and experimenting. I usually do brush lettering with black watercolor, but these Amsterdam acrylic inks are new to me, and so I am trying these out, and it is much easier because the black stays so deeply pigmented as I'm going through each one of the letters. I don't have to feel like I have to load up my brush as often. So I'm just going to go right over the top of this, just using that printable as a guide to do my lettering. This is a little bit tricky. It's definitely not perfect. I need to practice this a little bit more, but it's kind of the neat thing about brush lettering is, you know, kind of the hand done imperfect look that you can get with it. And this is sped up like 400 times, 500 times. So this is much faster than I actually go in and letter this. I'm just slowly taking my time, trying to be, you know, do hard like pressure when I'm going with downstrokes and then less pressure on upstrokes. But when you're tracing and printable like this, you really are just kind of painting in the letters. Makes it a little bit easier. So God works for the good of those who love him. And then I'll write in Romans 8:28, and that is going to be it for the entry today. So check out the blog post for that free printable. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave those down below. Check out the description box for links to everything that I used. Be sure to check out the links to the other ladies in the hop and go check out their videos. Leave them a comment, give them some love. I'm so excited to be able to be a part of this with them. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed. And until next time, thank you so much. Bye-bye.